We got a flight. We're flying back to Europe, saying goodbye to this paradise, assuming that the flight doesn't get canceled. I'll tell you that story in this video. All starts right now. Let's go.
Despite being triple vaxxed, currently on his 18th booster, and one of those morons that you see driving alone in the middle of nowhere but still wearing 2 masks, Greg found himself trapped in South Africa, unable to return home to Germany. You see, Greg made the grievous mistake of thinking that he was a free human being. That green Vax Pass lured him into believing that as a good citizen of the New World Order, he'd be allowed to travel and enjoy the freedom that we humans have enjoyed for thousands of years, even during pandemics. Oh, Greg, that was silly of you. Now he finds himself facing a 14-day quarantine, even though he'll be doing a PCR test before and after his delayed flight home. It's as if they don't believe these tests work. It's weird, yeah. Oh, and did I mention that Greg is already triple vaxxed and a fully fledged subscriber to mainstream media? Yes, Greg did everything he was supposed to do, but his timing could not have been worse. As if on some kind of schedule, this week's new variant ruined his plans of enjoying any semblance of a normal work life. Now, the spectacular scenery of South Africa isn't a bad place to get stranded, as you can see here from Greg's delightful drone footage. Would Greg somehow make it home before the Rubicon variant gets released sometime in January? And will he run out of masks for those trips in the car or even to the pool in the backyard? Keep watching to find out.
We are here in Hermanus, and the last few days of footage that you've seen is actually from Cedarburg, and I didn't vlog anything there because, you know, those days were kind of stressful, as you saw in the first 2 videos, trying to figure out what the next move was for me and for being able to get back home on one of these repatriation, not sure if that's the right word, but trying to, you know, people trying to get back to Europe to where they're from or where they reside, like me, so that I can spend Christmas with my family and not be in quarantine. That's the idea. So yeah, we were in Cedarburg for 2 days, and it's kind of a remote part of the Western Cape province of South Africa, so we did not have cell service and very limited Wi-Fi, which made it difficult to communicate with the flight department to try and get these changes made. But in the end, Ventura pulled through. Ventura Travel, based in Berlin, they're the ones that have hired me to come down here, and their flight department and their whole staff are just absolutely incredible. They've been so good at helping us here on the ground and our group be able to rearrange things and travel schedules in what is a really difficult time for airline bookings, as I'm sure you can imagine. So big thanks to them, because they helped rebook my flight yesterday. So as of last night, I have confirmed a new flight, which is the same flight but much earlier. So I'm flying from Port Elizabeth to Joburg, Frankfurt, Hamburg, which I'm sure will be a long day, but one I'm looking forward to because it gets me home and gets me within this 14-day quarantine period, which I personally think is a little ridiculous given that you have to test negative to get on the plane in the first place. But I don't make the rules. I'm just gonna have to abide by them in this case, unless something changes, which we all think it will. So hopefully I won't have to quarantine that long, but even if I do, I'll still be able to have Christmas with Nellie's family and my parents who are coming to visit, because it is our son Mateo's first Christmas. He is 5.5 months old right now, and we're really excited to have my family here in Europe to celebrate that with him. Even if there are COVID restrictions, we really hope that it can still happen. So that's the whole reason why I'm feeling much more relieved at the moment that I'm able to get back. If the flight's not canceled, we'll see. So hopefully I don't have to make another video a couple days from now being like, guess what, I'm not actually going back. But still, we're in Hermanus, so let's explore a bit of this beautiful part of the coast of South Africa, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're gonna do to take over the work that I still need to do here on this trip that I'm not gonna be on for the second half. It's raining. Good morning. It is like just after 5:30 a.m. I got up at 5, made some coffee, and came down here to the coast. This is one of the main reasons why Hermanus is so popular. Listen to me. Why Hermanus is so popular. You got this beautiful rocky coastline, and just off of the shore here is where a lot of whales are spotted, and it goes all the way down as far as you can see. And there are a few beaches here too, and the actual main town is back that way. But I think one of the reasons why whale watching here is so good is because of this rocky coast. The whales are like 20 meters sometimes, like just right there. So it's very easy to see them, and a lot of times they have calves as well, which is just amazing. So also for us, for photographers, this is like a bit of a playground. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a ton of compositions to be found. Now, I'm not really here for landscape photography, so as much as I would love to, you know, spend a couple hours just rummaging around these rocks trying to find good compositions, I really actually should get the drone up in the air and fly, because I think the footage from here is gonna look really, really good, and it's more about the group experience that I'm trying to capture and less about creating awesome photos for you guys. So let's get the drone up in the air and see what this coast looks like from the sky. from the next day. It is also about 5:30 a.m. We just got up for sunrise, and we're in a different location. We left Hermanus yesterday, and we've come inland here to a place called Skyding Guest Farm, and this is just incredible. What an amazing South African experience. We're in the middle of this just vast, wide open landscape. You know, now that I'm living in Europe, it's sometimes still hard for me to comprehend, you know, how just absolutely massive this landscape is with no other house in sight, and just this perfect view. Like, it's the hills, the rolling hills, and the light cascading across them. It's just something special here this morning. So got some really nice images, good footage to share with you here in this vlog, and also good footage to help sell this experience for the client, Ventura Travel. So yeah, very, very nice morning here. And today is day number, I think, 7 or 8 for me in South Africa. We're not going home yet, still got a couple more days. We're heading towards Knysna today, if you know where that is. And I want to share with you still my sort of thoughts and opinions on this whole experience overall, and how it has been for me personally with the variant news, and being so excited to come down here to South Africa and do this job, and to have that kind of flipped upside down on the first day, and now having to go home early and having to hire another videographer to take over the other half that I'm not going to be able to do, all because of a 14-day quarantine once I get back to Germany, which I don't believe in. So I'll just be honest there, but I'll share with you a little bit more about that at the end of this video. But for right now, I'm gonna go back to the positive. This place is so nice. It's time to get the drone back up in the air, because this is just drone paradise, and what an incredible location. Skyding Guest Farm, South Africa, Western Cape, South Africa. Wow. Good morning from Knysna. We have made it back to the coast. I'm going to take the mask off so you can hear me a bit better. We left the inland farm, and we've come back to the South African coast. And this is another beautiful town with sort of an island that's in the middle of this bay, this inlet. And there's really good seafood here. We got the chance to go oyster tasting on a boat, and that was just incredible. Really, really nice soft adventure day tour, which was really cool. And then we also went to the Rauberg Peninsula, which is just outside of Plettenberg Bay, about a 40-minute drive from here. And the hiking there is incredible. There's 3 different trips that you can do. One is only half an hour, which is nice for some of the older people in the group. And then there's one that's 2.5 hours, which is definitely a little bit tougher with a lot more up and down, and even some hiking on sand, which is what the rest of us did. And then there's a really long one that goes like 4 or 5 hours all the way to the tip of the peninsula and back, which I would like to do in the future. But when you're with a group and you're doing group travel, it's a bit more difficult. But I wanted to talk a bit more about South Africa and how the variant is being handled here, and specifically about the president's address to the nation, which was just a couple days ago now. And I mentioned it at the end of the last video, where we didn't know what he was going to say, and there was some speculation that they might be going back towards the lockdown that the society experienced here a couple of years ago. And luckily for us, that didn't happen. So I think the president can sense sort of the will of the people, and definitely the people here do not want to go back into any kind of lockdown. This is the beginning of their summer in South Africa, and there was a lot of hope, especially in the tourism industry, for things to sort of start bouncing back from the last couple of years of having to deal with COVID. Like everywhere, you watching this, you know what I'm talking about. And that was sort of stifled with this new variant and those flight bans when we began making these videos from South Africa. And a lot of people were feeling the hurt. In just like 1 or 2 days, there were so many cancellations in the hotels that we were staying at and with the tour operators that we were meeting. So really crushing. And to have the president come out and say, you know what, no, we're not going to go back into this lockdown. We're going to continue with our safety protocols that everybody's been following here. And I am extremely impressed. They take your temperature when you arrive at places, and you sign in everywhere, and everybody's wearing a mask, and it's there's a lot of hand sanitizer everywhere you go, and people are washing their hands. So it's really quite nice to see, to be honest. And yeah, he said we're just going to keep going as we are because they're not in any kind of crisis mode necessarily. So you know, there's no need at this point to go back to lockdown, which nobody wants anyway. So I think that the international community and especially the media have sort of overhyped the situation, and at least that's our opinion from the ground, right? I'm not a scientist, I'm not a politician, I'm not an economist, I'm just a traveler and a videographer and a photographer. But from what we see here in South Africa, you know, it's not like there's that much danger or everybody's getting sick around you. It's just kind of day by day going on as it is. So we are going to continue. I'm going to Port Elizabeth today, and that's where I'm going to fly back to Germany because I was able to rebook my flight early to be able to get back to my family and be able to spend Christmas with Nelly and our son Matteo. This has been a roller coaster of a ride here in South Africa. The group has now left. They've flown up to Durban, and I've stayed here in Port Elizabeth. And things have also changed once again. You know, I thought from almost the get-go that when this flight ban was imposed and they got the 14-day quarantine back in Germany, that I was going to have to hire another videographer to take my place for the last 7 days. And that ultimately didn't end up happening for reasons that are out of my control. But like, long story short is that we're going to be able to complete the deliverables and the content requirements of this job anyway. So that's really good for me and for the group and the tour manager and for the travel company Ventura Travel that's been so supportive and incredible during this entire time. So, you know, luckily for all of us, all the parties involved, we're able to still be able to complete this this assignment and create a great experience for those who are on the tour to visit here in South Africa during these tough times. But it's been just throughout the tour an incredible experience. And for anybody who's from South Africa watching this, thank you once again for the amazing hospitality. And just, it's such a pleasure to be back here. This is the 4th time I've been here now. And, you know, just one time after the other, there's just more to see, and I really do love it. So it's sad to be saying goodbye and heading out. I'm flying back home tomorrow morning and then jumping into 14 days of quarantine. But the overall experience has been fantastic from the South African perspective here on the ground. Now, going home is a different story altogether, and I've tested negative with my PCR test, and I expect to test negative again when I arrive. And it's you know, like, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, because as much as I want to be politically correct, it's very difficult for me to agree with a self-imposed home quarantine for 14 days leading up to Christmas. Yet at the same time, I feel obligated in a way to do so, to create a sense of safety for society back in Europe and obviously friends and family back in Germany. And then my parents are coming to visit from Canada, and I don't want them to have any worries, and I want to be able to spend time with them. So that's why I've cut the trip short, so that I can make sure that I sort of follow those rules leading into Christmas, so that everybody that is a part of my life can feel safe and secure. Then we're able to celebrate together without that cloud hanging over our heads. So yeah, this has been a very, very long video, but I know for those who care, you know, you want to see this and you want to understand what we're going through. So I thank you, as always, for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this series from South Africa. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be making some more videos once we get back to Europe and jump into winter. And next trip for me is Iceland. So I hope to see you there.